why if you can find and read the words of our rabbi in his prayers for his disciples in John 17, our rabbi said, I am not asking you, Father Yah, to take them out of this world. He's not asking Father Yah for that. But I am asking you to hold them in the midst of the world. Meaning, we should be a peculiar nation in spite of the fact that we are living in the midst of the world. You know, the hardest part for being a parent is how to teach your children to be a set-apart child, away from his or her peers. You know, when we ask our daughter Cassie to stop playing her oboe in their school, you know our daughter is one of the best oboe player in the district. She loves to play oboe. But most of her time to play oboe in the school is either Friday or Saturday. You know, way back then, I'm giving excuse. I say, Father Yah will understand. You can go. But as years pass by, as I've said, when Father Yah convicts me, I said, and so, you know, I cried when I told our daughter, baby, you cannot play your oboe anymore. Actually, she wrote that in her essay, why it is hard to do that, but I believe maybe I will spill some words in there. I believe she said, but she loves Father Yah more than playing oboe during Friday or Saturday. That's when we teach our children the word of Father Yah. The word will come back to you that is said in Proverbs 22 verse 6, I believe, is teach your child the way they should go, so that even when they're old, they will not depart from it. If we are teaching our children to learn how to read the Bible even at their young age, they will not forget. And sometimes I'm wondering, what will the assembly be, the COYB, 20 years from now, if we are not going to teach our children how's our legacy to our faith? Who is going to continue our faith if we failed to inculcate the word of Father Yah to our children? That is our job. To tell them to pick between the world or the word of Father Yah. That is our job. Because if we fail for them to understand which one is which, then we fail our children. And we failed Father Yah as well. That's why our rabbi said, if we love the world and yet we lose our soul, what can we have to replace it? Or it says, even if you acquire the wealth of the world and yet you lose your soul. We know that this world is going to be burned in fire, right? And yet, most of us are hustling to get that dollar for our life. You know, our rabbi did not hinder us to do our things, because it is written, you can do anything that you want to do for 6 days. But please, remember my Sabbath. Our rabbi, I believe, is what you call more than just enough to give us the time to do what we want. I said we want. Even though if we are going to look at our closet, there's only a couple of them that we need, and the rest is that's what we want. We buy things sometimes that we don't need. And at the end of the day, when the budget is short, we tend, it's either to have that card, use it, and then sometimes our credit card is more than enough that we can pay. And then all of a sudden, that credit card is 29.9% per annum, and it is compounded daily that you don't understand how they compute it. And then you ask Father Yah, why this thing happening to me? I'm glad you asked, that Pastor Blackwell said. Because we spend more than what we can pay. I am not bragging, but I pray, Father Yah, that in 2 years, we can pay our house mortgage free. Because Father Yah is giving us the opportunity to live in this world as simple as can be and as joyful as you can be if you know His will to do first. Way back in the history, our rabbi was born not in the palace. He was born in the manger, telling us to live as simple as we can be as we are traversing in this world. Be not conformed to this world. Teach our children not to follow what they saw from their classmates. I'm teaching high school for almost 15 years here in America, and I'm telling you, it is getting worse. It's not getting better. Children nowadays are getting more disrespectful as they can be. Children nowadays are dressing as if they want to show everybody about what they can show. And sometimes, you know, the reason why they're doing it, because we adults are tolerating it. I wish my school, I said, don't allow those sweatpants and everything not to wear by the students. I wish. But we give provision to them, the same thing with us, parents. If we give provision to them, it becomes what? A norm for them. Then we are conforming ourselves to the world instead of us trying to influence them. Do not be conformed to the world. It is true. Sometimes our children sometimes need to be fit in their surroundings. There's nothing wrong with that. But let your children knows the boundary of when to fit in and how to fit in. Do not be conformed to this world, but be you transformed, he said, by the renewing of your mind. By the renewing of our mind, we now know better. Father Yah has given us the understanding to know better. You know, lately I gave an advice to our brother. If you were not able to show and live the word of Father Yah in front of your children, then do it in front of your grandchildren. He said he was lost for almost 30 years in his life. He admitted. And the children see what he did in his life. Now the children know how to do that in their life. Now he come back and he said he is asking Father Yah to give him the time to redeem his life. And I said, now Father Yah is giving you the time to redeem it, then show it to your grandchildren. And keep on praying for your children that maybe Father Yah will have mercy on them, that they will see you changing your ways. We cannot go back the hands of time, but we can redeem our time by the renewing of our mind. What's the point of getting old if we are not getting old? Is it just a number? I'm getting 52. In my students say, Mr. Dante, you are 27. I said, very good, I'll give you 5 points. But my point is, the age doesn't matter if you are not getting old. Getting old means we are maturing to the word of Father Yah. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9, know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Elohim? Now this is a question by Apostle Saul. Don't you know that the kingdom will not be inherited by unrighteous people? Don't you know that now? We know, right? If we know, then apostles might say, why you keep on doing it? Be not deceived. That's what Apostle Saul said. And then in verse 11, he said, and such were some of you, meaning you live unrighteous before, which is true. We are not denying it. But when we receive our rabbi to be our master, and we proclaim that he died on that stake for my stake, for your stake, are we going back to the old ways and proclaim that we are the disciples of our Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach? You know, in Acts chapter 7, verse 51, when Stephen made his dissertation in front of the Israelites, this is what he said. Acts chapter 7, verse 51. Now, Stephen is young. The people around him are, some of them probably are teachers of the law, meaning they know better. But Stephen said, you stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, you do always resist the Holy Spirit. Ouch. Isn't that what we are doing too? Sometimes, if not most of the time. I would like to give you a warning. Father Yah said, my spirit